to Tales by Ajike, where the art of African speak.
Everyone in a jail community knew the young woman with the careful hands. Her name was Zainab. By daybreak, while most of her mates were still yawning awake, Zainab was already seated in the abandoned library behind her aunt's mansion. Zainab lived under the roof of her aunt Madame Ronk, a woman whose tongue was sharp and whose heart had grown tight from unfulfilled dreams. When Zainab's talent began to Madame Ronk smiled in public. "You're doing well," she would say when neighbors were present, her voice like honey. But behind closed doors, her tone changed. "Don't show too much," she warned one evening, folding her arms as Zainab worked. "Visibility brings pride. People steal ideas when you expose yourself too early." Zainab lowered her eyes. "Yes, Ma." Ronk watched the girl's calm hands move across fabric and felt whenever customers asked for Zainab by name, Ronk answered for her. "She's still learning," she would say sharply. "Nothing serious yet." Later alone, she locked finished pieces away in boxes. One evening, while her aunt was away from home, a stylist named Aisha noticed some pair of shoes and handbag peeking from beneath a table. Hand-stitched, perfectly balanced, unmistakably unique. "Who made these?" she asked. Zainab hesitated. "I did," Aisha smiled. "Your work speaks loudly, even when you don't. I would love you to showcase your beautiful crafts in the upcoming exhibition." That night, Zainab began documenting her craft in secret. Under moonlight, she photographed her work, shared quiet captions about fabric, patience, and heritage. When the invitation arrived for the Youth Craft exhibition, Zainab's hands trembled. "They want me to showcase my work," she said softly. Madame Ronk barely glanced at it. "You won't be going." "Auntie," Zainab tried carefully. "I can manage both." Ronk's eyes hardened. "So now, you already have the nerves to argue with me, right?" That night, anger took shape in action. Ronk stormed into the library, scattering bags, shoes, fabrics. "You think praise has given you wings?" she shouted. "I will destroy everything making you feel important." By morning, Zainab's work lay in ashes. Her savings, gone. She sat on the floor, numb. But then, as she gathered herself, her fingers brushed two folded Ankara fabrics hidden beneath her bed. Her breath steadied. There was still hope. Sleep abandoned Madame Ronk that night. In her mind, the past replayed itself, Mariam. Her elder sister's name still carried weight, even in death. Mariam, with her gentle voice and effortless brilliance. Mariam, whom their parents praised without restraint. "I tried," she told herself. "I tried tailoring. I tried business. I tried being enough." But every unfinished dream felt like a wound that never healed. When Mariam died, Ronk thought the comparison would die with her. Instead, it returned in a smaller form. Her daughter Zainab. The same calm eyes, steady hands, same quiet confidence that did not beg for attention, yet received it anyway. What if history repeats itself? She wondered. What if my own daughter stands in her shadow the way I once did? The thought terrified her. "No, I am protecting her," Ronk whispered into the darkness. But even as she said it, something inside her knew the truth. She was not protecting Zainab. She was protecting her own unhealed past. Tassin returned from abroad glowing with confidence. Madame Ronk wept openly, pulling her daughter into her arms. "My jewel," she said, "you've finally come home." "Zainab, take the luggage inside," Ronk added without turning. Zainab obeyed quietly. That evening, Tassin prepared for the club. "Aren't you coming out with us?" she asked casually. Zainab shook her head. "I still have work to finish." David noticed her Ankara bag as she passed. "Did you buy that?" he asked. "I made it," she replied simply. Something about the way she said it stayed with him. Tassin friends organized a welcome party for her, and David at the club. The next day, David visited the house. Amid laughter and preparations, Zainab moved gracefully, cooking and serving. David noticed her composure. Few days later, at a supermarket across town, David ran into Zainab. Away from family roles and expectations, they spoke freely about craft and dreams deferred. She told him about her hope to grow without dishonoring anyone. David listened, impressed by her talent and moved by her humility. David offered to help professionally. "I don't want success that brings trouble." Zainab said, "I just want room to grow." David nodded. "Talent like yours shouldn't be hidden. Let me help properly." She hesitated, then agreed. He accompanied her to a nearby market in the community, to get her more fabrics and accessories, helped her refine her social media presence, and introduced her designs to an international lifestyle company looking for authentic African craftsmanship. Within weeks, her work traveled farther than she had ever imagined. Her bags were featured. Her shoes were requested. Within months, Zainab received an ambassadorship from Ritchie International African Print. She moved into her own apartment. A new car followed. David got to know that Tossin reunited with her first love when they coincidentally met at the club, which led to the collapse of their engagement. Madame Ronk felt the absence she once enforced. Zainab's absence was felt. No one to help with running errands, cooking, and house chores, since Tossin was not used to such lifestyle. Only then did she understand. The blade she sharpened was for herself. Zainab did not rewrite the past. She became prosperous, on her own path. Moral: you can delay a gift, but you cannot cancel a destiny. Light does not need permission to shine. It only needs time. When you refuse to inherit bitterness, you break cycles and become the blessing others were afraid you would be.